Hello everybody, my name is Terry and I am your diet diva on the internet. Today I just want to talk to you a little bit about emotional eating, and I'm going to take a little bit of a snippet from my book, Your Diet Diva Gone Raw. Now raw of course is my transition from carnivore to a vegan type eating and raw food, but really what this is really about is it's a combination of that, and most importantly is really hitting that raw nerve with my clients and really getting to the dirt of what's really eating them. So the reality that does bite is in fact all in your head. I'm going to give you a little bit of a snippet from my book, and hopefully it can resonate some where I'm going with this topic. So face it, you're in the hands of the latest diet trends. You are in control of what you purchase, rather a book, a supplement, a diet, a grocery, whatever you decide, it's totally up to you. It is all comes down to one thing. You have a choice. You need to know what the intention is of that choice. So because we're so inundated with the latest and greatest, we have all these thoughts based around what we see. We know that food labels are becoming an issue. It controls the mind. It's all psychology. Now, I'm not here to bash any one thing, nothing at all. My purpose of this one is to really take your thinking to another level. So really understanding how this level of thinking actually controls the level of your food obsessions. Whether you're having a menage a trois with a Ben & Jerry ice cream, or a big bowl of cereal, or a pasta, it could be due to loneliness. You could be eating to live due to boredom. You're not satisfied. You think you are in control, but yet it ultimately takes you in a flight of being out of control. Most importantly, we all get fixated on how we want to apply this diet, this pill, and we're fixated on how we're going to look. And we think because we've picked up the latest diet, our nutritionist or our trainer has suggested the diet, we think it's supposed to work, right? Well, of course it is, until you make a decision to quit yourself. Not the diet. Every diet out there is brilliant in its own way, its own professionalism, and its own direction. I do not bash any one diet. I only try to help make sense of each diet. But most importantly is we really need to start understanding the battle with food or eating or our body composition is really about directing our own power, knowing what our intentions are, building your own self-alliance within yourself, stop self-judgment, stop the self-obsessing, and understand that you have all the control. You just have to say when. So really what I try to get my clients doing is really thinking about the why. Why did you do that? What were you thinking? What happened? What gave you that understanding or that feeling that you ultimately wanted to kind of fixate on and support this loneliness or this bitterness that you're feeling? So most importantly, when we're working on a new diet, to be curious is one thing, but ultimately to understand that everything we do is about self-obsession. It's control of what we're thinking. See, the thoughts are also very toxic, and they can be very misleading and alarming to your own aftermath of what you're reaching for and what your dinner table is providing you. So some things that I do, I help with my clients and help them understand that the obsession is based on perhaps the depression or the suppressing of a feeling, and we're not quite getting it. It's this self-indulgence. It's all based on our desires, and we truly really want to understand, how do we get a hold of this stinking thinking? So here's a couple of suggestions that I will point out, and I myself work through the suffering, the toxic thinking. We're all human. No one's perfect. We're all suffering in our own way. That little girl or little boy is always going off in our left and our right side of the brain. We're always chattering to ourselves. We're always obsessing. We're always thinking. See, nobody knows my dialogue in my mind. Nobody knows what I'm looking at when I'm looking at a bowl of salad or a cookie or a glass of wine. Nobody knows what I'm thinking about it. I can only focus on the thinking my mind is doing based on what I'm looking at. So if I'm in the business of working on my body, even dropping body fat, I will work on the mindset it takes, the emotional thinking. One thing I am a big fan of is the power of journaling. And you bite it, you write it. As you write it, you actually can articulate and really resonate with what is going on with you. And when I get people to journal, I want them expressing what it is that triggered that binge, what it is that they're obsessing about, what's the rigidness about, what is your attitude about. So most importantly, diets don't fail. You fail the diet. You basically quit yourself. So hear me out. I just want to give you a few pointers from my heart. And believe me, I do my own work and I work with people. I really try to help them and understand that we need to start working through our self-suffering, our self-loathing behavior. So one of the first books that I absolutely loved, and it got me thinking about more holistic and personal transformations from within as you're starting to detoxify, whether you're doing a regime for eating supplements. You also want to detoxify your thoughts, especially the negative thoughts. And this is how we want to heal ourselves. So this little book that I have picked up, I absolutely love it. This book points out, it's a very quick snippet of ideas, basically consolating around your thinking mind. This book is amazing. It's How to Heal the Toxic Thoughts by Sandra Ingerman. I highly recommend it. If anything, it's going to get you really understanding what this is all about. Now, whether you're a food addict, you're into drugs, you're into alcohol, you're into shopping, you're into gambling, you're into I don't know, crime. It's all based on our desires, and it's all in our ego mind, not in our heart. So when you're in your heart, you're in love, you're in the light, you're giving yourself nourishment and healing, and you're really embracing the life that you should be living within your heart. And you will find that you will radiate a lot of great energy. I have a lot of tools that I use, books. I have people that I hone in on, great holistic practitioners. I might go to a card reading. I might get maybe go into hypnotic sessions. More importantly, why I'm sharing this with you is because I know when I'm in my doom and gloom, when my diet, my habits have changed, or my habits are kind of not so healthy. You know, we're only human. I'm not clean eating all year round, but I do know how to cheat, and add the tricks and all the little, tools but most importantly, I know if I'm not addressing the mindset, my emotional well-being, my healing through within, and if I constantly have anger and rage and resentment, then I am ultimately doomed and I'm heading to the cookie jar. So that being said, the next book that I really wanted to point out, one of my absolute favorite, is Tara Brach. And her book, Radical Acceptance, has taught me so much. And her philosophy comes from the Buddha, and it's a psychology all on its own. And it's basically embracing your life within your heart, living in the light, and really try to unwind and unfold the suffering and the thinking mind. And she touches a lot on, the obsessions, the addictions, and how we're all trying to fix this suffering. But yet ultimately we don't know how, we don't know within what book, who to reach for. And she gets you thinking through proper mediations, self-chatter, and try to express yourself in different ways. The other book that I wanted to point out, and it is something that I've started doing, is Emotional Freedom Techniques. The next book I wanted to point out is The Healing Code. This is a very good book. I highly recommend this for anybody that is working on healing and really trying to address a source for better health, better success, and really about better issues and how do we deal with them properly. My point in that is these three books have helped me help myself and my clients really hone in on that stinking thinking, the reality factor of why we can't get to our ultimate destination and why we are continually going back and forth on this yo-yo diet, this yo-yo attitude, and why just nothing works. Well, anything can work, but ultimately it's up to you and how you put it all together. So more importantly, start journaling, start expressing yourself, create some circles of influence that are going to help you understand how your emotional thoughts are absolutely the root to all of your nasty thinking, and why things don't work for you, and why your body is changing and accumulating more toxins, and perhaps the body fat, the cortisol levels are going up, and particularly it's really trying to identify positive energy reinforcement and true to yourself. So one thing for sure is I like to, every time I do have a negative thought, I like to do the elastic band technique, and that's how I get some clients really thinking about how often they have negative thoughts and how often are they thinking about food. You know, every time you have a bad thought or you're thinking about a food and ultimately to sabotage your reality, slap that elastic band. It will only draw attention to the issue. The issue is what you're saying to yourself. So every time you snap that elastic band on your wrist, understand that that is a trigger. So where does that come from? Follow the hurt, as I say. Follow the hurt, find the source. Sometimes we need to draw to some resources, and that's why I recommend these 3 books. And if you need more information, please email me. I'd be happy to discuss that with you. There is a chapter in my book, Your Diet Diva Gone Raw, and basically it's the focus of why we're out of control and another reason why diets don't work. They do work. It's just the understanding of how you're reading these diets. Your interpretation is everything. So that's it for now. My name is Terry. I'm your diet diva on the internet. You have a wonderful day. Happy thoughts, loving kindness to yourself. Embrace yourself. Journal yourself. What you write, you want to know exactly what you're biting. And I'm talking the reality of your bite. What is really eating you? So that's it for now. Thank you. I love you, my friends. Have a wonderful